I need you to be the monster, not the man. And good, because I think with the painting behind that Shantanu created, which actually while I was writing the song,
Hello followers of the Score magazine, I'm Prakash and I have with me here Sneha, and a very versatile actor and a musician.
Let's dive right in and explore her creativity and music through this interview that we're going to have. Hi Shruti, nice to have you here.
Hi, nice to meet you guys, finally.
Yes, absolutely.
Shruti, you act in multiple languages.
Yeah.
How do you manage to create music? Because you should be always busy with shooting and scheduling and all of that. How do you steal time to create music, and how did it all start?
I think it started way early, music, singing, and then I always wrote poetry, so I'm working towards something with my poetry as well, because that's been the first catharsis. And then merging poetry and music is songwriting, I suppose. So that started way back, and even when I was busy and working, I had a discipline to keep writing songs. So I have 50, 60 unreleased songs where I record them, I put them down, and you stay in the practice of creating structure. And it's not a discipline, it's like a joyful discipline for yourself. Because I've never been listening to or making music for any other outward goal or achievement other than the fact that it gives me immense joy and rootedness, and it works as a catharsis in every conceivable sense. So when you love something, you somehow make the time to do it. That's it. Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. So now let's talk about your newest baby, Monster Machine. How did the whole creation of this track come about, and how did you bring different facets of womanhood into this song?
I think we were speaking earlier, it was it just had to come out. You have that feeling I want to say something, I feel like I just should say, and you get stuck. And I felt like that for a long time. And then I think when you let go and you say, okay, you know what, let me just go through this. And being in therapy, going through sobriety, going through all of those patterns, I realized that I love the darkness and the dark corners, and I love being a misfit, and I love celebrating my what I've been told continuously is unacceptable, or you shouldn't have rage, you shouldn't have and I was like, no, I want to own that, and I want to set it to pitch. You know what I mean? And so I was having a conversation with Shantanu. We were talking about I think a previous relationship, one of those boring in the air couple conversations just float by, and I said, you know what it is, I'm accused so much of being so many things, so I need you to be the monster, not the man. And good, because I think a lot of women, we also feel we play the male gender type, and it's all weird. So I was just no, but what I need is the monster to match the monster in me, which is genderless and timeless, and yeah.
Wow. That's pretty intense. I also happened to see the music video. It's really good, and I love the song. It's come out really well. Monster Machine is such a multifaceted single. Who did you collaborate, and how did it work out?
So I wrote it on the piano, which is where I start, and I've made a conscious effort over so I studied audio engineering, I went to music school, and then they were do you want to get into production? And so I know I started on Fruity Loops and then Pro Tools and all of that stuff, but maybe because I'm a bit old school, rock and roll, where I really liked going and meeting people, and us coming together as this sort of brother/sisterhood, and making, which it really doesn't feel like that anymore. And then I felt when I am writing, I can't get lost in technology and loops and stuff, and I'm not dumping on those who do that. I'm just saying, for me, it's so important to create that kind of energy of I'm rooted to it. So I stay away from programming and doing that, and I prefer live instruments as much as I can. When I play live in the UK, it's a cellist and a pianist, and then we have a backing track, because I think that's important to stay. So I write on the piano all the time.
Wow.
I then, depending on the song, work with different producers. My work husband has always been Karan Parekh. We worked on Edge together. We worked on She's a Hero together. We write so much stuff together that people haven't heard, and he's really like he's my master shifu. Like he really settles me as a musician, and he's like able to say non-judgmentally create this. So I really needed that for this. But I started it first with Karan Kanchan because of his strong rhythm production, and I wanted that. And then I wanted the refinement from Karan Parekh. So it's always a collaborative effort. Yeah.
Lovely. And I think, I absolutely love your previous singles and tracks as well.
Thank you.
So this particular song, I really love the fusion of beats. It's absolutely captivating. So I'm a bit curious. First of all, I want to know who's the male voice that's coming in. And
It's Shantanu.
Yeah, I guess so. But
Wish he was here, but
yeah, I know he's in Mumbai right now. Yeah.
Yeah, and also a bit of Tamil in the song.
And Assamese.
What made you like bring
Well, we
all
just
of
wanted to have so it's a love song to myself. But it's like I always say, it's like the oxygen mask theory. It's like you help yourself first and then others. And love feels very much like that to me. And it's a huge inspiration. Like I always say I'm like a connection junkie. Like I need that connection. I need to, whether it's musicians or actors I'm working with. And then the next level of that is experiencing attraction, love and sensuality, sexuality, all of it unbridled. But we kind of get stuck in text messages and phone calls, and like we're not just able to. So I wanted to show that kind of communication without saying all these really polite things, without letting each other be monsters. So I wanted it to sound like a phone conversation we're like a couple that's really communicative and open, but we wanted to create that phone call of like, oh, am I disturbing you? No, please come in. And then finally it's like, nah, screw that. Like we know what we are, Yeah. So that's just like a narrative line.
Yeah, so you talk about 4 avatars in this song. So could you like elaborate on what the 4 different personas
So it starts with the silhouettes to like present them to the audience almost like a play, And I leave enough room for interpretation, but like I wanted to have the archetypes that have played very in the forefront of my mind, so to say. So we start with the actress really seated, waiting for her shot to be taken. With the painting behind that Shantanu created, which actually while I was writing the song, I saw this painting of his, and you can see it in the videos. There's like a really beautiful, small, vulnerable face with these huge monstrous teeth and this bulbous structure behind it. And at first I thought, oh God, like this monster's consuming this innocent little thing. And then I said, no, shit. The innocent little thing is controlling the monster. And that's like in our psyche, our unfulfilled hopes and dreams as children, and that translates into everything, that translates into my life. I joined the movies. It's the only thing I knew growing up. So I wanted to keep that like behind me. And there's like broken disco balls to represent that glamour is really not what it seems. And that was like my little messaging there for those who want it. But it's the mirror that's always ever present. Like I can put on a different face because it is my job. It's my job to do that. And then there is a job outside of the job of pretending, which I don't want to do anymore. And I'm saying that as a human being. And so that is that narrative of till the point she has to face the mirror and the demon and the monster inside of her. The other is the archetype of the witch, which I keep saying the stakes change and the trees on which they burn them change, but the burning never changes. There are metaphorical stakes on which men and women are burnt continually through time, and predominantly women. You don't, like a lot of people don't know men are witches too, but the witch is determined for a hysterical woman creating evil. Oh, she's just a misfit. Like today that woman could be you or me. And I read this quote, which I always say, which is my favorite, is we are the granddaughters of the witches you couldn't burn. And so and she says nothing, the witch, but the narrator is the girl with the hammer, and we gave her a hammer because we're hammering points in all the time as women on social media, as men on social media. Like, it's so much hammering, you know. And I've always said, I just want us to sit across the table. Like, if everyone could just sit and have like a sharing of opinion and creative thought and sensitivity, would be fine, but it doesn't happen. So I'm like, you know what, I'll take the hammer. I'll also hammer my point in.
Wow, that's amazing and so intense.
I think you should have a website or something and then put in all this information about this one song.
I mean, I've just said the top layer. Everything else that people
I know
want
it
to
can get like really intense.
Like what you feel, like we've left enough room for you to move in. You know, that's how I put it.
Yeah.
But these were the archetypes which were like a film script, you know, like when we describe this is the character. Yeah.
Nice. And how long did it take to write this song?
I wrote the song over 2 weeks.
Oh wow.
And then the finishing was longer. And we shot the video in like a day. Yeah.
Nice.
Wow.
It looked like a lot of work for the video. But
Well, so I collaborated with a really talented director called Twarakesh, and we put this whole thing together. And Bhuvan sir, who is the DOP of KGF and Salar, he's the one who shot it, which is why it looks like really cinematic and beautiful. And he was so committed to the world we had created, and that, well, a small world compared to Salar, but like he understands instinctively, because he's worked on films like that, what it means to commit to the visual of the world. We had the art director from the film, Mr. Chalapathy, help us. Prashant sir was kind enough to say, I love what you're doing, take our help, which is the first time I've seen a beautiful amalgamation between my film experience. And really early on in my career, people were like, yeah, nice, but don't do this. People want, like, no. What do you mean? Like, no. Or like, I remember once a co-star was like, what are you listening to? And took my headphones and I was listening to Meshuggah, and he was just like, oh, okay. So I used to be like, okay, I shouldn't show that here. And now I share it with people with the joy and the respect and the place it deserves in the world. And guess what? I get the love and support to do it. So I'm really thankful to the incredible people I got to collaborate with on this.
Lovely. Awesome.
Amazing. I think it went hand in hand, your music and your acting, I think.
Yeah.
Were able to kind
Yeah, I was able to find a sweet spot.
Exactly. Okay, collaborations can be magic. You know, tell me, who did you work with for this single in terms of creation, in terms of video and everything? Of course, you've already mentioned a few, but please tell us about the collaborations for the single.
I think that it was like super important for me to start with working with Karan Kanchan and Karan Parekh, because I wanted a cinematic feel, but with something that is rhythmically disjointed, because I felt disjointed in so many years of my life. And then that end when the monster arrives is where all the rhythm comes together and it's a celebration, you know. And I really, I had already worked with Karan Kanchan before, so it felt like natural. But with Parekh, Karan Parekh, we were really able to hone in and create those layers. And we worked on the mix and master with JJ from Island City in Bombay, and he spent so much love. Like, he was like, don't worry, I'll do it in a day. And then he's like, no, do you like version A or B? Like, should we do this? And then we met, and then we monitored it, and it was...
How many versions of this song did you create?
God, I don't know, like 4 or 5.
Can we get to listen to everything? As in, like,
it was
sooner or later?
It was not as good. So
that's okay, it's all like creation.
It was much more stripped back. We just kept feeling it needed, and not more. Just a little bit more. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was really, it was a process. And so, the musical experience of it was really, really good. It was really good.